Hi, today we are going to do lesson one of our constructions, and this is just construction basics. So basically, all that we're going to learn today is what the tools are, so introduce you to the tools and how to use them. And specifically, we're just going to use our tools to create congruent segments. And congruent segments, you should have learned this word already, means that they are segments that are the same length, so they have the same measure. They're also this. Also, you could think that they are the same exact size. So we are going to use a compass and a straight edge to create congruent segments. And we're actually relying on a theorem to do this. And a theorem, you may or may not have heard this word before yet in geometry, is just something that we know to be true because it has been proved. And the theorem we're going to use today is that all radii, that's the plural of radius, all radii of the same circle are congruent. So it basically means that if you draw multiple circles that are the same size, or if you're drawing within the same circle, all of the radii are going to be congruent to each other. All right, so we are going to use two tools today. We're going to use a compass, which you've probably seen before, and we're going to use a straight edge. And I'm calling this a straight edge and not a ruler on purpose because I actually don't care about the measurements on it. I just care that it has a straight edge. And that means that you don't have to use a ruler. You could use an index card or the edge of a textbook or anything that has a straight edge. All that you want to be able to do is take your pencil, hold it against the straight edge, and make a straight segment. That's all. That's the purpose. And actually, just for the ease of this video, instead of using my straight edge, I'm going to use the tool I have on the computer, which lets me make a straight line without a straight edge. Okay, so just because this is pretty annoying to use, I'm going to use that tool, but you should be holding up your straight edge and drawing a line along the edge of it, just so that you know that all of your lines are straight that you draw. Okay. So let's talk about the compass. So the compass is a tool that you've probably seen before, maybe have held before, and you'd probably think that it's just used to draw circles, and that's true. So normally to use a compass, there's a pointed part and a pencil part. And what you do is I'm going to put a little dot on my paper, is you put the pointed part on that dot, and that means that that dot is the center of the circle. And then you open or close your compass however big you want your circle to be, and you can rotate the pencil all the way around. And if you go all the way around, you'll make a full circle. And this is really easy on the computer. It's a little bit harder physically holding a compass. So you might have to practice a little bit. I like to hold the compass really lightly in my hands. If you try to push really hard on the pencil, it's actually harder to make a full circle. So try to hold that lightly in your hands and move the compass around. And so we're actually not often going to make full circles. I don't really care about full circles. Very often, I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put a little dot. Notice that my compass, I haven't changed its size. It is, if I move it over here, it is the exact same size. And physically, the compass you have in your hands, if it's a good compass that works well, it should be a little bit rigid. So it shouldn't be opening and closing very easily. If you pick a size, it should stay at that size unless you actually pull it or push it, pull it open or push it closed. So if your compass is too loose, sometimes there's a little screw near the top that you can tighten it because it shouldn't be falling open. So you should be able to move it, put that pointed part on another dot, and you should be able to make another circle. So I'm going to this time make my circle blue. And I'm not even going to make a full circle. I'm only going to make like about a half a circle. And so I know that if I were to continue making this circle, it would match this red one exactly. I would have congruent circles since I didn't move my compass. And since I have congruent circles, it means that all of their radii, right, are going to be congruent. So I'm going to go to my red circle, and I'm going to you should use your straight edge, but I am going to use my line tool here. And I'm going to pick the color red because that's what this was. And I'm just going to take any point, it doesn't matter, anywhere on the outside of this circle. And I'm just going to put a little dot. I'm going to put a little dot right there. And I'm going to use my line tool to connect, or your straight edge, to connect the center to that dot. And you just drew a radii, okay? So now I have that radii drawn. I'm going to go to my blue circle. And again, I'm going to pick any point on this blue circle. So I didn't make the complete circle, right? So I have to pick a point on this arc that I drew. Any point, I'm going to pick this one right here. And I'm going to use my line tool. You would use your straight edge. And you're going to draw a straight line from the center to the edge, just like that. And what we just did is that we created congruent segments. And actually, there's a symbol to mark congruent segments. In geometry, it's called a tick mark. And the tick mark is just a little slash. So I'm going to put a little slash 1 on that circle, or on that radii, and 1 here. And that means that these segments, if I were to measure them with a ruler, would be the exact same length. And so you can do this really quickly. I could do it again. I could take my compass again. I haven't changed the size. I can go back and measure. I can see that the pointed part and the pencil are the same distance apart. I could go over here and I could make a green circle. So I'm going to put a little dot in the center, line up my pencil, and I'm going to make a green circle. And I'm not going to do the whole circle, just a little bit of it. Move my compass. And now I'm going to put a little dot on the circle, maybe like right there. And I'm going to connect center to that little dot. Center to dot. And I just made another congruent segment. So right now on my paper, I have 3 different congruent segments. And the thing is that if I went back and I deleted my circles, right? So if I delete my circles, let's see if I can do that. Hopefully I can. Delete that circle, delete my blue circle, delete my green circle. All that I have left are these segments, red, blue, green, and those segments are all congruent. They are the exact same size, they're the exact same length. If you actually wanted to use your ruler, you could test it out. And understanding how to create congruent segments is crucial to constructions. So that is a really important first step. So make sure that you are super comfortable using your compass and creating congruent segments for lesson 2. All right, thanks.